Hi YouTube, Coinpicker here. Here are my finds for the past 2 weeks. So we have some thrift store finds, some silver spoons, my go-to. So I found these, going through all their spoons in a little basket, 99 cents each. So this one is probably from about 1910, 1915, around there. So they have the old coat of arms, Canada. And what does it say in the bowl? Montreal. So this is sterling. Oops, upside down. Now, I think the sterling part has rubbed off, but I recognize it by the design, as I have quite a few of these ones. Well, a few, not like a ton. And then we have another old spoon here. It says Toronto in script. Very nice design. Filigree silver, like these little tiny little threads of silver. And here, what's interesting, it says MLE 96. So most likely that refers to 1896. The bowl on the inside of the spoon has been gold washed. So very, I guess it's like a gold plating on the inside. And I could not find any silver marking. Most likely it had been rubbed off at some point in time. But you could pretty much tell it's silver. Pretty neat, very old. And this last spoon, it is 800 silver, and the badge probably fell off at one time, and it's most likely from continental Europe. All right. And the marking is usually up here. I believe it's probably from Germany. So that's the company name, Antico 800. So 80% silver. And they're approximately, I guess on average, like 10 grams each. Probably a little bit less on this small antique one. So just these 3 spoons, close to an ounce, I guess, of silver. And then here is a really nifty, I say nifty find. Now what is it? It's a bunch of little silver cups and a decanter. So it is actually Japanese, and it's a sake set, like Japanese rice wine set, probably a gift set of some sort. And it is marked silver in kanji, or Chinese characters. So it is marked from left to right, silver made, which is pretty cool. Oops. And it looks like it has a gold wash on the inside. And I love how it's hammered silver. And it's also marked from, well, this time top to bottom. And it looks like someone tried to scratch it to check the metal underneath. So it's the same thing. So from top to bottom, it says silver made or manufactured. Looks like someone dropped it at one time, or two times. You see these 2 dents. But I can't complain. $12.99 plus tax. And it has this sort of wrap. I think it's, like some sort of natural material like bamboo or rattan or something like that. Really nice. And that set I weighed out, it was like 172 grams of silver. So it could be coin silver, like 90%, could be sterling, 95, or possibly pure silver, because it doesn't really specify. But that was pretty cool for like a little over $13 with tax. The box looks old, probably from the 1950s. Hard to say. I mean, could it be pre-war, pre-World War II, like 1930s? Possibly. Well, worldwide silver went up like during the 70s, like crazy. So definitely pre-1970s, I'm assuming. So got to do a little bit more research on it, but that was a great find, even for just silver value alone. That's like, let's say, in Canadian dollars, that's like $200 in silver, probably, maybe a little bit more. As a nice set, boxed set, I would say $300, maybe $350. It's weird they have this little like corduroy material. Interesting. Yeah, so that was pretty good. And actually our local flea market in Vancouver, they last weekend they had a antique show on one side of the flea market. So basically, normally you pay like $2 to get in a big flea market, but when they have these antique fairs or shows, they separate, like, I'd say just like a small section on the one side. So they have two separate entrances, the main entrance and then this side entrance for the antique, shows. And I definitely, had to go check it out. I haven't been to their shows in a long time. So it was $5 to get into the antique side, and it was pretty fun. A lot of vendors that normally don't sell at the flea market were selling there because they were like the collectibles and antiques people. They go through those, their show circuit. They have a few locations, or venues, and it costs $5 to get in. But once you paid your $5, that entitles you to go back to the regular flea market for free. Well, not for free, but it's included. So really, you're paying $3 for the antique show and like $2 to get back into the regular flea market. So I went in there, saw some, or recognized some familiar faces, chit-chatted with some people, but it was cool. First purchase was at the first table. Once I entered, this lady had a lot of, different type of antique collectible items, had some jewelry, and this caught my eye. So it's definitely Chinese, most likely late Qing Dynasty, early Republic era. So we're talking about maybe like 1890, maybe 1870s to all the way to like 1910. That's where I figured. But the center, this is silver. The center copies an old Chinese coin that's it says Tong Qi Tong Bao. So circulating treasure or coin of the Emperor Tong Qi. So yeah, that coin, if it was the legitimate coin, it'd be like from the I think it's like 1850s or something like that, but mid 1800s. And usually it would be like a copper brass cash coin. And you have, I'm gonna just close up on the design. So you got auspicious symbols like a pair of fish, meaning, or it sounds like the word for like plentiful. And then you have some, I guess, flowers or floral stuff on the other side. And yeah, she only wanted 15 bucks for it. I said sold. I mean, that's already like, someone helped me weigh it just for fun. That's already like I'd say 7.5 grams of silver. Don't know what grade of silver, but you know, at least coin silver, if not pure. So we're talking about, I'd say 10 bucks of silver at least, like roughly Canadian dollars. And I was told that it had been either refashioned as a pin or just remounted, because this mounting is not as old as this Asian element, Chinese element. But someone told me it wasn't done just by the style of the pin or the little bits. It wasn't done recently. So someone said it was like maybe from the 30s or 40s, something like around that time period, maybe 50s. But it was done afterwards, but definitely not new. So that was still cool. And 15 bucks was a bargain. I would say in a antique store specializing in Chinese things, this would be, or even online, I think this would be at least $100 bill, give or take. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, I don't know. Other thing, I'm just gonna go by chronological order, I guess. Someone had a bunch of stuff, and had a random container of coins. So I'll probably go through these in another video, because this is, I guess enough stuff for another video. Mainly foreign coins, nothing too old, but it was definitely worth it. The guy was asking, I think 20 bucks for it. And there's gotta be like 5 pounds of coins here. He gave it to me for 15, A little bit of haggling, because I just sort of went through this, and it's like, didn't notice any silver or anything very old, but the guy said he was a coin collector, and this is just basically the stuff that doesn't pass his mustard. Basically not worth keeping for him. So 15 bucks just for the bulk of this stuff, bulk coins, definitely worth it. And when I do my next video solely on this, you will see why it's worth it. So that was pretty cool. And then right before I finished off with the antique area, there was a gentleman selling mainly military items in the display case, like old medals and ephemera and stuff like that. But I spotted this little container. See, there's a nice dragon on it. And this are somewhat related. I guess both are considered export silver, from like Chinese export silver. So, well, actually, this actually might not be export. This might be made for the Chinese market, possibly. But this is definitely export. So you got a little container with a dragon on it, and it is silver. It's missing its lid, and it is marked by a famous silversmith, or I'd say silver company in Hong Kong. So WH90. So 90 should represent the purity of the silver, so 90%. And WH stands for Hua Hing. of Hong Kong. So usually I see that name on like those little silver dishes that has a silver coin, like a dragon dollar or a fat man dollar, incorporated into the center, like soldered in. This company made a lot of that stuff, and I guess that stuff was like exported, out of the country as well, back in the day. And I guess the other marking in Chinese is perhaps the retailer. So it's really hard to see because a lot of it is sort of incomplete, but I believe that says Chan, like almost like the last name Chan, well, should be. And the other part means often or something in Chinese. So maybe it's a name. It's a company company name probably, or a retailer. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's why I figure. So one is the manufacturer and one is the retailer. And the guy wanted $40 for it. And he said someone told him it might be silver, may not be silver, but just the fact that it has that 90, WH90, I recognize that. It doesn't actually say silver anywhere on that in Chinese, but yeah, 90. Mind you, some German or European silver spoons, like silver plated spoons, actually have a 90, not meaning 90%, but 90 grams of plating per, I don't know, they go by how much weight of base metal, but this is not one of those. So it's from Hong Kong, probably like from, like turn of the 20th century? Turn of the 20th century, so 1900s, most likely. And at first, so going back to the story, he wanted $40 for it. Wasn't sure if it was silver or silver plated. And I asked him, can you do any better? And he said 35, and I go, well, how about 30? And all right, this is the first time anyone ever offered, but just like those TV shows, like those, I don't know, auction hunter, auction hunters or thrift hunters, whatever shows, right? The guy goes, why not we flip for it? And I thought, that's pretty cool. All right. You mean, so I chose heads. So he said, like heads, you get it for $30. Tails, you get it for $35. I go, okay, $5. I mean, $5 either way is not going to kill me. But of course, it'd be nice to win. So he flipped a quarter, and I won $30 right on. This weighs about like 31 or 32 grams, so it's pretty much like for silver value. Or actually, no, that actually is below silver value for us in Canada. So if it was roughly, let's see, I think I worked it out. Well, it's probably a few bucks more than silver value, right? Or no, a few bucks below silver value, which I paid. So I got it and I thought, yay, right? And in my mind, I was thinking, is this some sort of snuff bottle, something cool like that? And I did some research after the fact. All this toning, like originally it would have been like shiny silver, sterling silver, not sterling, 90% silver. So all this came afterwards, this blackening. But at first I thought, oh, would this be some sort of cool snuff bottle that some rich guy would have in his pocket? And, maybe the plug is missing because if it, let's say, came from the States or it was imported, those little spoons with a little top attached to the top that you pull out, could have been made of ivory, and that's like a no-no for importing or exporting, and the customs department people would like confiscate the ivory bits and release the rest of it. It's funny, it's like the more you learn, you how do you say it, the more you learn, the more you need to learn, or if you know just a little bit information, it's a dangerous thing, all right? Because, all right, my imagination went wild. So I was thinking, yeah, it's a snuff bottle and blah, blah, blah. But the fact is, it was exported, or it was made and exported to the West. So why would the West during that time period have snuff bottles? I mean, this wasn't like 17th or 18th century Europe or whatever, right? So this is like turn of the 20th century. And I was right. Well, when I did my research online, this unfortunately, unfortunately, it is just from a salt and pepper shaker. So mundane, right? And this is from the pepper. So it would have originally would have a silver lid that would push down into it, and then there would be a one that was, I think, a little bit longer. I'm not sure this is the longer one or short one. One with a stem that's a little bit longer that had a threaded twist-on lid. So the twist-on lid would have been for the salt, and the push-in lid would be for the one that had the pepper. Don't know why there was a difference. Maybe the salt had to be like super tight to prevent, like corrosion on the inside from the salt, or reaction, like the salt might get all clumpy because of moisture. Who knows, right? But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's just the pepper from a salt and pepper set, but and incomplete, but has some things going for it. Number one, it is 90% silver, and like about an ounce of silver. It is Chinese export, which is collectible on its own right. Some people like it, like me, and it has a dragon, very cool looking flying dragon. See that? So, I'm not complaining. I mean, it would have been cooler to be a snuff bottle, but being like sort of like I guess a dining or kitchen sort of thing, I mean, it's okay. I mean, it'll be like considered a knick-knack, So that was cool, and that was like my last item before I finished. I was like there for close to 2 hours, even though it was like a tiny section. I mean, it was probably like 1/10 of the flea market area, and we have a huge flea market, right? So spent like 2 hours there and popped into the regular flea market area, looked around for another hour, and there was this lady selling coins and old banknotes. Went through her $1 per coin junk bin thing, and then she had like for nicer ones like $5 junk bin. Did find something. All her good stuff was like too expensive. But yeah, check this out. I think she put it in the $5 bin, thinking it's like a Roman coin or something. I got her to knock off like $2 because it was in quite poor condition. But if you see that it says like Nova Caesar, it has a horse and a plow, and it looks like it probably was at a metal detecting find, just because it's so beat up, and it looks like someone I guess like etched the outline of the horse's head. Wish they didn't do that, but the item is as found. So I guess if it didn't have that, maybe I'd have to pay more. I don't know. But check out the back, or is it the front? I don't know. It says pluribus, and it should be unum on this part, and it has a shield. Again, the shield has been, I guess, burnished or etched. Someone used, or I guess it's called tooling. emphasize the design after, like, that's post-mint damage, right? But for $3 Canadian, not, well, yeah, it's not even straight there. For $3 Canadian, this is a half cent from, I believe it's 1787. I may be off by a couple years, but something like that. I think it's 1787. The date should be on the bottom, but it's really worn out. This is considered American post-colonial coinage, and this is from New Jersey, I believe. When each of their colonies issued their own coinage. So even as a beat up issue or copy of it, no, I shouldn't say copy, a beat up coin from that era, I would say possibly, all right, someone correct me, but would you say like $50 American it's worth? I think in my collection I do have a little bit more decent looking one, but I think that's the only reason why I recognized it. If not, I would have, if I didn't have one already, I probably would have thought this was like a merchant's token or something like that. But pretty cool. From the flea market. Well, anyways, here are my finds. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Coinpicker out.